I am Jewish and very proud of my heritage. My father emigrated from Poland to the United States at the age of 17 to escape the poverty and widespread anti-Semitism in his home country. Those in his family who remained in Poland after Hitler came to power were murdered by the Nazis. Anti-Semitism is not some abstract idea. Israel's right to exist in peace and security, who as a young man lived in Israel for a number of months, as someone who is deeply concerned about the global rise of anti-Semitism. We must say loudly and clearly that to oppose the reactionary policies of Prime Minister Netanyahu does not make anyone anti-Israel. Let me say it again. I am vigorously opposed to the reactionary, racist, and authoritarian policies of Donald Trump. That does not make me anti-American. And I am not anti-Israel because I oppose Netanyahu's policies. My friends, the issues that we are dealing with in the Middle East and around the world are enormously complicated. There are here
a lot of issues that we need to work on here in this country, combating anti-Semitism here in the United States and abroad, unfortunately continues to be a huge issue that we need to.
Israel is a stalwart ally in an unpredictable region. It is essential to maintain strong bipartisan support for our ally and a shared understanding of increasingly dangerous challenges. We must maintain a robust MOU on security assistance to ensure Israel has the tools she needs to prepare for and defend against threats. And our long-standing bond must continue to be bipartisan. I want to thank AJC for your leadership combating anti-Semitism.
Hello everyone, Joe Biden here. I just want to thank you all for supporting the American Jewish Committee and for taking part in the 2019 Global Forum. You know, for more than a century, AJC has taken up the essential work of combating anti-Semitism, not only in our society, but around the world. And I'm sorry to say the work remains even more significant today than it's been in the recent past. We see all too clearly how the poison of anti-Semitism continues to affect our society.
Hello everyone, it's Cory Booker. I want to thank the American Jewish Committee for the work you are doing to combat anti-Semitism, to fight for justice, for light, for love.
Pointing, in other words, in the direction of peace. This is also a time of disturbing anti-Semitism on the rise around the country and around the world. We've seen it in despicable, violent attacks right here in the United States, from Pittsburgh to San Diego. We see it in rising white nationalism, violent and demonstrating across our country. And it is time to make sure that we are unified across the American political spectrum in establishing that hate has no home here.
We've seen anti-Semitism surge in recent years. It's on the rise here at home and around the world. We can't enable it. We can't brush it aside. We have to fight it head on with determination. We have to call it out. We have to call it out on the left, and we have to call it out on the right.
Sadly, anti-Semitism has been on the rise in America and around the world. Just this year, during Passover in Poway, in California, the Chabad shooting was a hate crime in its most clear form. The
figure out how to fight against extremism, how to fight for global peace, and how to lead the world in a better solution. As senator, I have always taken my responsibilities very seriously to make sure that I fight against anti-Semitism and to make sure that the United States is a safe place for the Jewish community to live and thrive. I have always worked hard to protect the U.S.-Israel alliance to make sure it is strong. Our nations have intertwined national security issues, which is why I've voiced to make sure we fund David Sling, Arrow, and Iron Dome, and to make sure Israel always has a qualitative military edge to protect her country.
But as a member of both the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Senate Homeland Security Committee, I am deeply involved in ensuring the American-Israeli relationship remains strong. And I am proud to stand strongly with America's most important allies. So let me be clear about what I believe.
On Israel in any way. In 2016, I not only signed on to the American Jewish Committee's Governors United Against BDS campaign, but also signed into law legislation that mandates Colorado's retirement program divest from firms that boycott Israel. And I was proud as governor of Colorado to expand our cooperation with Israel in water, agriculture, energy, cybersecurity, and even cannabis.
And I'm glad to stand with you every day in defending our values. We do that by promoting pluralism and democracy at home and abroad, and by fighting against anti-Semitism and extremism wherever they arise. In a world of complicated threats and challenges, America is stronger when we work with our allies. Israel is a strong ally and an important friend to the United States. Good friends can disagree, and a candid expression of concerns does not diminish our friendship. We can and should.
I'd like to ask Prime Minister Netanyahu to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Israel has been blessed to have many friends who sat in the Oval Office. But Israel has never had a better friend than you. You show this time and again. You show this when you withdrew from the disastrous nuclear deal with Iran. I remember in one of our first meetings you said, "This is a horrible deal. I will leave it." You said it, you did it. You showed it when you restored sanctions against a genocidal regime that seeks to destroy the one and only Jewish state. You said, "I will restore those sanctions." You said it, and you did it. You showed that when you recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital and moved the American embassy there. With your bold proclamation on Jerusalem and with your bold proclamation today on the Golan. Your proclamation comes at a time when the Golan is more important than ever for our security, when Iran is trying to establish bases in Syria to strike at Israel.
The Israeli newspaper Ma'ariv has reported Israel's former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has publicly said the September 11th attacks have been good for Israel. Netanyahu said, quote, "We're benefiting from one thing, and that is the attack on the Twin Towers and Pentagon and the American struggle in Iraq." End quote. Netanyahu then reportedly said these events, quote, "swung American public opinion in our favor."